Good morning. I hope everyone is doing well today. Um, it's definitely been a 24 hours. Goodness. It's been an emotional one, which I guess is pretty typical now. It's like a combination between being emotional and feeling a little bit of brain fog and some excitement, and a lot of just kind of constriction within my body. I don't actually know the day that I last binged, and I don't want to know because I don't want to be measuring my progress based on that. I just know it was about a week, maybe a week and a half ago, so I could probably easily find out, but I'm not going to go there. So, but I'm really, really grateful for that because it hasn't taken much time for me to start to feel more clarity and definitely to care more about the things that really matter to me. And fortunately, because I've been practicing steps in recovery for a couple of years, I've been able to sort of manage and deal with the more extreme thoughts and feelings that come up that used to be a good cause for why I overate. There's a lot of debate about whether or not it's habit versus, your thinking, and I could go into my theories, but basically, in a nutshell, I feel like it's a combination of the two. So I'm really grateful to have tools and support in my life to help sort of bring me back to sanity, and therefore I just don't feel quite so desperate to check out. Okay, so daily honesty. I spent all of yesterday trying to bargain with God about how it would be a good idea for me to date this person, even though I knew yesterday morning that probably wasn't a good idea. But I really want it, and even this morning, once I realized like I really do need to just say I'm unavailable. I broke down because I feel lonely a lot of the time. And it was kind of interesting because I was on my yoga mat and I was crying and I was just saying, I really, I feel so lonely. I feel so lonely. And I just, and then of course I miss my daddy, that all that stuff comes up. And then I just kind of like imagined, what if I was with a man right now and he was lying in my bed, or our bed if we were together, and all of a sudden I was like, I'd still be saying these things. And that just like really threw me for a loop because, there's this perception that if I get matched up with someone, then that means that I am not going to feel that emptiness anymore. And what I'm gathering is that it's quite possible that this is part of what it is to be human. So for me, no matter, who is in my life, I'm still going to feel that there's a piece missing. And of course, feelings aren't facts, and the truth of the matter is I have everything that I need and more. Like, I am so incredibly blessed and grateful for that. But that hole is there, and no person can fill it. And that's a really tough cookie to swallow. And yet it kind of gives me peace because it reminds me that whoever I do end up in partnership with is someone that I am really going to be living on mission with. And that's a very Christian term, but regardless of faith, like someone that I share purpose with and values, and who I can really look to share in that journey and help me, help guide me, and I help guide him through all of those different times and the struggles and the triumphs and all of that. I'm just having this weird thought because, my sexuality is something that I sort of have questions around, and on the one hand, I really am very attracted to guys, and on the other hand, I'm very scared of them, and I'm like, sometimes I wonder if I am not straight, but I think I am. I don't know. This stuff can get really hairy, especially like when I have spent so much of my life numbed out in some capacity that to be entering the world, I feel like there's so many unanswered questions and so many things to sort of figure out for myself, which is probably why I haven't yet met the person that God wants me to be with. But whatever the case, I feel like I'm digressing. So all of this is to say that that hole is going to be there. As far as I know at this moment, that hole is going to be there indefinitely, and it's just part of the human condition. And so my journey and my intention is not to make that hole go away, but to honor it and to do the things that I guess help to bring peace to everyone else who's also encountering that hole. Because that hole, I feel like, is what causes addiction. It's what causes depression and anxiety and disconnection and all those things, because it can become so real and so convincing that anything is better than feeling it. And even though it feels very strong, again, it's not true. So we all just have to kind of remind each other of that. So there's that. I have a neighbor who is struggling with addiction, and it is to substances. And it's amazing how God's timing works out, because basically when I had the major compulsion to overeat lifted, within days, this person came to me and started talking to me, and we've been developing a friendship. And it's really scary, I have to be honest, like, especially finally kind of having some breathing room from like some substance dabbling that I did years ago. It's a very dark place, so it's really frightening to expose myself to that. But I also find so much joy and beauty in being able to hopefully at least introduce this person to the possibility of a life that is so much greater, that is beautiful, albeit very, very emotional and messy. So, yeah, I'm really grateful for that opportunity, and I'm also nervous, and I'm also wanting to hold myself accountable to the fact that I still have to take care of myself and care for my own spiritual and social and emotional needs, and professional, just to continue to invite God in and let others love on me, and to actually love on myself too, so that I have enough love to give, or at least have access to it. So I think that's all that's really coming up for me at this point. In terms of food, it's just continuing to be sort of challenging at times, in the sense that, like, even though I've planned meals and they're healthy, and they're also flavorful, and I really enjoy them, I still feel some guilt whenever I eat. And so I just continue to pray to have that guilt lifted, and when I feel it, I just kind of tell myself that it's not real, and that the truth is that I'm nourishing myself. Oh, that's right. So last night I was out for a quick jog, and my brain does this great thing where it likes to tell me that even though it's time to eat, I shouldn't eat and I should wait because I need to have clarity for some situation or something. And someone told me a while ago that my body is the best indicator for almost any situation. And so I asked myself, what does my body say? And I thought, my body says it's hungry. And so I was able to actually eat my meal in peace, which is amazing. And that just required me checking in with myself and really trusting, like, wow, I am hungry. Like, I don't feel starving, but I feel like I need nourishment, and I'm starting to get a little on the weak side. So yeah, that was a really neat kind of experience where I started to navigate through the mind-head games that come with the eating disorder by actually checking in with my body. And the less binging I do and the less overeating I do, the easier it is for me to actually get a gauge of where my body really is, versus like having like certain pangs for certain foods or things like that. Okay, so now we're back to EDA, and we're still in There Is a Solution. Chapter 2. Okay, so assessing severity. All forms of eating disorders are dangerous. Electrolyte imbalances caused by overexercise and other forms of purging can lead to heart failure. Health effects associated with binge eating include obesity, sleep apnea, and diabetes. Anorexia is associated with the highest mortality rate of any mental illness. Regardless of type, eating disorders exist along a spectrum of severity, which, for brevity's sake, we will divide into 3 categories. And I'll leave it off there, and we'll go into each category each day. So, this is something that I can so relate to, just in terms of the reality that eating disorders are dangerous. It's so easy for me to think that mine isn't, and to kind of minimize it, especially since, there was a time when I was purging multiple times a day, and all I was doing was eating and purging and sleeping because I couldn't function in any other way, really. And so it's easy for me to think that because of the progress I've made, that my eating disorder isn't life-threatening, And so this is a really great reminder. And this is what I find about Recovery Text is that I don't like to read it because I don't want to go back there, but I also want to read it because I don't want to go back there. It's like 2 different ways of looking at it. But I am just grateful to be reminded that these things can happen. And not just that, but like when I was in my eating disorder, I kind of didn't even care about heart palpitations. I didn't care if my heart would fail. There was a lot of me that didn't even really want to be alive. And in this moment, I can tell you that I do want to be alive. And that's an amazing thing. I'm just kind of experiencing that. And I'm so grateful for it. So yeah, eating disorders are intense. And they're no joke. They're a big deal, and anyone who's struggling with them, it's real, and there is a solution, and there is a way out, and there is freedom, and it comes with lots of oy, but lots of ah. So I've gone kind of long today, but I will wish you well. I hope this finds you in really a state of peace. I hope that this finds you in a state of peace. All right. Lots of love. Take care. Bye.